Hey guys, welcome to week 9 of Freddy Fridays or Building a Business. And we have a special guest this week, Jordan Cox. He's very close to us, one of our buddies, and also in the automotive industry. And also, Savannah's at our house this week. She stopped by after the holidays to visit with my wife and kids. And we've been working on all things strategy and operations for Freddy Media. But Jordan, thanks for joining us this week.
Dude, thanks so much for having me. This is great.
Jordan, you've been on the road everywhere. I'm glad you're making a little. Where was the most recent dealership you visited?
Oh man, so there were a few that I did recently. Recently I took a trip down to Indianapolis, Indiana, and spent some time at Tom Wood and then also McGonigal. So at Tom Wood, it was at their Ford store, and I went to McGonigal Buick GMC, which they also have Cadillac under that, which is just a little bit north of Indy in Kokomo. That's where I was.
I always think of dealers from the perspective of who picked up my cold calls back in the day when I was, a salesman for a vendor.
Yeah.
And the Tom Wood people, they're great people. They took a few demos. Jordan, you took a demo from me way back in the day, but
That's
so
right.
Jordan, you're kind of the king of knowing the technology ecosystem within dealerships, and nobody really kind of dedicates their lives to knowing and understanding it in the way you do. But we've all been sitting here and chatting before the recording started about everything in dealer life is being automated. Everything in dealer life is about technological efficiencies. And how do we kind of leverage the technology we have and inject a more human experience? And I like perhaps tie it into the thing I saw you did with our mutual friends at UVI. You were looking at a UVI machine, takes the whole vehicle inspection, and then how do you run with that as a service writer, service director, or perhaps a salesman trying to convert to a trade-in? How do you take like a beautiful AI technology, but then like humanize it?
Yeah, so a lot of people will always say something that I think is a little bit overused and is cliche now, which is we want to find the places where AI can do the heavy lifting. And then we can also make our people's lives more efficient and effective. And I think that's cliche and overused, but the best analogy that I just learned about a couple of days ago was this. If we can find the places where our people are using a screwdriver and turn that into a screw gun, why would we not do that? And as soon as I heard that said, I was like, dude, that's the analogy that's going to kill it in 2025, is finding those spaces. So UVI does that so well. Before, you'd have a service advisor that would walk out and they would do a physical inspection on this vehicle. They walk all the way around the vehicle, check everything out, and say, okay, everything's good. Well, what if you can automate that process? But better yet, what if you can find ways to add value to the customer so that they can actually do business with you quicker? So
when you were watching it, did you think the UVI portal was like a nice icebreaker for conversation where like the customer was like, holy smokes, what the hell was that thing?
yeah, well, here's what's funny is there are people that drive through that machine at Tom Wood and they take a selfie with their kiosk. So they have this big physical kiosk and they go over and take a selfie with their car because they've never seen the underside of their car before. Their fixed
Wow.
ops director says it happens all the time.
They should feature that in their advertising. Savannah, you tell us, I mean, you're the queen of dealerships. How would you take technology from, the phone call ecosystem and leverage it to humanize customer service or human touch?
I think the biggest thing is when we look at adding more technology, we're like, okay, it's making us more efficient and helping us do our jobs better, but then it's created really bad habits. And the biggest thing is how are we utilizing the technology? Sure, we have it, but 8 out of 10 of the tools that you're investing in as a dealer, you're not using them correctly. And you're not using the full bandwidth of the platform. So I think really understanding them. And if you're going to invest in something, spend a lot of time with your customer success team or with your rep and understanding what it's capable of and how to optimize it. And then you get more and more attention from that organization as well. And they want to help you make it better. And so I think it's created poor habits. And specifically with a phone system, it's like we have these phone systems. Are we looking at all the reporting and what else is it capable of doing? So I would ask every single vendor I have, what am I paying for that I'm not using? That's my biggest question.
I love the phone technology. Everybody's like running into AI on the phones, but they are still like hard to get through. I tried to make an appointment for an oil change the other day, guys, and it's like you might as well not call dealerships right now. I don't know if they don't want, like, if it's on purpose, they don't want you to like make a phone call to schedule an oil change. That's kind of the state of our industry. And I think if a nice person picked up the phone, it would just warm my soul. However, I would say from my end, we talk all the time about, social media is effectively um, the modern place in the dealership that's like showing that your lights are on and the place is open and it's a nice place to do business. So I would say humanizing your social media, overhauling it to like constantly say, here's like a nice thing that we have going on. Here's the employees that work here. I no longer want to see the hostage photo of the guy that just bought the car and it's like, forcing him to stand there. We're kind of past that as an industry. And then beyond that, I think Savannah and I are really good friends with a restaurateur named Mark Janasic, who's a bit of a mentor to us. And Mark, he owns a brand called Southern Grounds. It's kind of like the anti-Starbucks. It's no drive-through, scratch kitchen, no seed oils. Tries to make a community where people hang out, but still sell a premium product at a high price point. So I think, injecting nice greetings, because nowadays when somebody shows up to the dealership, you know who they are, and you can do everything in your power to thank them for previously coming, being prepared for their arrival. Nowadays you have more potential for a Ritz-Carlton style greeting than you ever did before, because we have the technology to know who they are, why are they coming, what did they do last time, what do they typically like. You can have a drink ready for them if you really are on top of your game. But Jordan, I'll let you wrap it. Like, the ultimate use case or the best case scenario, how can you humanize the dealership experience?
Just be real, answer the phone, talk to someone like they're actually a human being. Even through video, we spend so much time being robotic with somebody, but really there's someone on the other side of that screen or the other side of that camera that you're talking to. And the more you can humanize that and actually have a real relationship with someone that's actually authentic, like that's a winner.
That's a Jim Coonsism, taught me as a young man. John, you sit across from the desk from anybody, no matter, like in Tyson's Corner, sometimes we'd have senators or we'd have people who just immigrated to the United States, and you just talk to them like you already know them. You don't like go through the process of anything. You just talk to them like a buddy. And therefore, when it comes time to ask for the business, couldn't be easier.
In the initial contact to the customer, you don't necessarily need to make a custom video every time. We're talking about making this more efficient. Hi, I'm Savannah. Like, it's so great to meet you. Can't wait to get in touch, right? Like, so simple. You in front of a dealership. It doesn't need to be the car they inquired about, just a video introducing yourself and be human. And you can automate that too.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for hopping in, talking Freddy Fridays. And thank you, Jordan, for joining. And I would be on the lookout for NADA. I don't think anybody does a better job on the floor at NADA than Jordan Cox.
Thank you.
See you soon.
See ya.